Hey guys, good morning. Javer here, back at it on Studio One. It's been a while since my last video. Things have just been hectic, but it's time to jump back into it today with something kind of fun. Today, what we're going to take a look at is how to do some sound design and some custom sound sampling within Impact in Studio One. This is really pretty easy. It's going to be pretty straightforward, but it's really powerful with how you can use this. A lot of times in my songs, what I will do is I'll load in a default drum kit that has some sounds close to what it is that I'm looking to hear, but I might want to add something in there that I can repeat and utilize my MIDI controller to hit and create kind of a one-shot sound, or loop it through using MIDI, and maybe I want to make that sound just with my mouth, or do an instrument, or you can do anything. You could tap a pencil on the paper or table. You could I've got a coffee mug here that you could easily just tap a pencil on that and get a sound. Whatever you're doing with it, it's something that can really spice up your songs and something that you might find useful. So let's jump into it. So you can see that I'm here in Studio One, and the first thing that I've done is drag in a instance of Impact here. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Impact here, it's basically like a drum pad, essentially, and you can go up here, you can choose different default kits that they have in the system, and it gives you some really cool stuff. So let's just take a listen to some of these. This is called Artful Garage. And just so you know, I am controlling this with a MIDI controller off here, off camera to the side here. It's pretty cool sounds. Let's see, Atmospheric Chill. I like the name of this one. Yeah, you can see that there's a lot of different options already. Let's look and see. Yeah, these are cool. Cloud Trap. Down tempo and chill. That's cool. Okay. Now, you don't have to start with a built-in default drum kit here in Impact in order to do this. You could come up here and go to default, and you'll see that clears all your pads. But I do like to start with something because it kind of gives me some direction to work with. So we'll start with down tempo and chill here. That seems like some good building blocks. Some hi-hats, some interesting sounds. So what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to take this off screen here real quick. And in order to get started, what I want to do, the goal in this video and the goal of my project here, is to replace these sounds that are coming default in Impact's pads with my own recorded sounds. And then that's the first goal. And then I'm going to show you how to flesh that out a little bit and make that a little bit fuller production if you want to add some unique takes on that. But first, the goal is to get a sound that we created onto one of these pads and be able to play it with your MIDI controller. Or just, you can see I can click on here and you can hear these as well. So let's take that off screen. And what we're going to do, you can see we've got our instrument track over here on Studio One's interface. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. You can do this in mono or stereo or whatever, but because I'm just using one microphone right now, I'm going to have this in mono. And I'm going to name this track My Sound. And what I need to do here is make sure that this track is armed to record, because I'm going to utilize this to record a sound of my choosing, whatever I want it to be. So right now, I'm just going to record this. You could put effects on this pre-recorded, or to have it to be able to manipulate whatever you want to do. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this sound completely dry, and let's see here. I'm just going to do kind of a psh snare. Psh. I know that sounds ridiculous, but bear with me. So I've got my track armed to record. I've got to make sure that I've got the correct input, which I don't. Psh. There we go. Okay, then I'm just going to hit record. Psh. Now you can see that I've got my waveform there. It's the greatest snare drum of all time, right? I mean, that's just amazing. Now, what's cool about Impact is that I don't need to have this all chopped up perfectly. I mean, I just have, you know, the rough sound here, and I can, you know, I don't have it perfectly chopped at the beginning of the waveform or after or whatever. But when I bring my Impact back over here, this is what we're going to do. This is the snare that's coming stock in the down tempo and chill kit. But let's say I want to replace that with my snare. You can see that I've got this waveform up here, and then it says snare game there. Well, what I'm going to literally do here, this is pretty cool. I can just go over here, click on my waveform, left click and hold on a PC, and then I'm going to drag it right over onto my Impact's drum pad. You see where it says D1. That corresponds to where it's being mapped to on your MIDI controller. So once I've got it in here, you can see that it shows the waveform up in the preview window. Now, I've got a problem here because the playhead starts back here, and now I'm going to hit this on, well, I'm going to hit it on the keyboard and make sure, whoops, where do I have this at? You can hear that, but we have a delay because the playhead is not lined up with the beginning of the sound. So I can literally click and drag this to wherever I want that to start. Now, you'll hear that's right on the beginning there. And if I want it to be a little bit shorter, you can see I can drag that second playhead over the ending playhead wherever I want. Now, up here in my triggers, I've got that as a one shot. So it plays it once. If I hit loop, it's just going to do that. So, normal, I'm not exactly sure that seems to do the exact same thing that one shot does. But anyway, for me, for my purposes, the purpose of this video, we're going to use this as a one shot. So now, when I go back to my keyboard, and I play my kick drum, you can see that, and then my sound, that then plays as the snare. And I can come in here, I can right click, I can rename that pad, maybe I'll call it my snare. Now you'll see that that's independent from how I recorded my sound over here, which is great, because we want this to be something that's identifiable as you work through the process. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so now we could go back here and we can actually, let's drag the Impact off screen again. We'll go over here, you can delete this. Let's say we want to do a, I don't know, a hi-hat. Something like that. I know all of you out there can do probably much better drum sounds with your mouth than I can, but this is what you get on this video. So, okay, we're going to go back, make sure our track is armed. Now, I could come in here and I could put my hi-hat here just to start with, so then it'll rename my pad in the Impact correctly right off the bat. So let's go ahead and record that. Okay, and let's bring the Impact back over, and let's put this on, let's do it on F sharp. So I'm going to go over here, left click, drag over, and you'll see that it renames that my hi-hat. we're going to move this into position, the playhead. Kind of cool. Now, one thing I can do here as well to tweak this a little bit further, when I select a particular pad, I can go in here to these parameter editors and I can change some things. So let's say I want my hi-hat to be a little bit higher pitched. I can bump that up. That sounds cool. Maybe I want to have it be a little duller. I can filter that. Well, let's see. Oh, I got to turn that on. Yeah. I don't know. I really want that hi-hat to cut through. Yeah, but you get the picture. Okay, I can make it louder. Oof. I can make it quieter. Yeah, maybe a little quieter. So this is all something that I can do actually in the impact interface itself. So let's hear this. Kind of cool. Okay, that gives us something to work with here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, delete this. I'm going to disarm that track. This track is purely being used to create the sound or the sample that is going in and being loaded into Impact. So once you're done with that, I feel like it's kind of a good habit to go in and delete that. But now, if I want to go back to Impact here, and I actually want to record something, I'm going to change my tempo there. I can go in here, trigger my click. Let's make sure that's playing. Okay. And let's record a take with this. Okay, and remember from some of our previous videos, if you click on your MIDI information there and you just press Q on your keyboard, that's going to quantize that. Let's hear what this sounds like. Let's listen without the click. You can see what's going on where it's showing the information that's being sent here in Impact. And again, little quick tip here. If you remember, if you scroll your mouse here and you have a mouse with a wheel on it, but if you scroll on your timeline here and you scroll up, that actually expands the visual window there as far as what you're looking at the data, or if you scroll down, brings that together. That is a real handy little trick that I use all the time. And then also, if you click on this and press P on your keyboard, it automatically sends the loop region, sets the loop region, and then if you hit /, that'll actually loop your section that you just set there, so you can listen to it over and over again. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So I kind of drop that pitch down on the hi-hat. You can do the same thing with the snare. Let's say I want the snare to go up a little bit. I want it to go down a little bit. That's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, okay. Cool. So that gives us the building blocks, the fundamentals of how to do some custom samples into your Impact. Now, the next thing that I want to show you though is how do we make those a little more unique. Let's say we want to add some effects to those. We want to add some reverb or something like that. I'm going to drag this off here real quick. And let's see here. So on my keyboard, if you hit F3, that's going to open up your mixer here. And you can see that I've got my input outputs over here exposed. You don't have to have those exposed. I typically do because I like to see where I've got sound coming through. Now, each one of this shows where sound is coming from your impact. You'll see that I have all these channels here, but they're all grayed out. What I need to do is go back to my input, or my impact, excuse me, and you'll notice on the impact interface that I've got these numbers down here in the lower right corner of each pad. Well, that corresponds to a different channel of sound that each one of those samples is coming through. So, for instance, you're going to see that I've got kick bowl on channel 1, and you'll see it over here in the instrument input section, but it's grayed out. But watch what happens on my mixer. If I go over here and I press this little white circle, it adds a track there. Oops. These are all different banks, by the way. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You have a lot of room to grow into here. And you'll notice I just clicked over to G there. There's nothing on those because that's so deep into it. But so if I hit this now, you're going to notice that comes through on impact 1 here. Now that's just the standard thing here. But if I go to my snare, you're going to see that's on 2. And if I hit 2, now it's coming over here. So you'll see impact 1, impact 2, and we can rename these down here actually, which I kind of like to do to stay organized. So kick, snare. Now here's a problem. You'll see that my hi-hat says it's on 1, but that's also what kick bowl is on. We don't want that. We want that to be separate. So we know we're using 1, 2. Let's make this 3. So if I click on that number 1, I can go up here and I can say stereo impact 3. Now I got to go back over to my instrument input, and that is going to open up another channel, and I can put hi-hat. Now when I hit that, you'll see it comes up on its own track. So when we hear this now, you'll see now I've got independent control over each one of those pads. So I can add effects to those. I can change levels from here. You can make this fully customized in whatever manner you want that to be. So let's take a listen to that. Yeah. Okay. So let's just show what that looks like. We want the snare to be out, on there. Okay. Cool. Okay. Now what that gives us, let's bring this impact off screen here real quick. Now we're going to go to our effects browser, and let's just like anything else on once you have that sound in there and you got an individual channel created for it, you can do whatever you want. So let's add a reverb over to our snare and see what that sounds like. Maybe take down that wetness a little bit. It's awesome. That really gives it some vibe. And if I want to, I can just drag that right over to the hi-hat too. Maybe take it down a little bit more there. Okay, and let's do this. Let's pan the hi-hat over to the left, drop the volume a little bit. Okay, we're cooking. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that, and now you can see that's kind of the basics of how you can sample different sounds in Impact within Studio One and really develop some cool drum kits. Now, of course, you can save these as a kit if you wanted to. You know, that's something that you can do. You can keep, you know, building on it, save it with other kits, whatever. You know, it's a ton of options there. One thing that I did kind of want to show, another cool trick here though with this, is you can actually, you know, we did some pretty simple sounds there, some pretty simple mono sounds. We had a kick drum, a hi-hat, whatever. Let's say we wanted to do something a little bit more vibey, that had a little bit more width to it, and a little bit more character. I'm going to show you how to do something kind of neat here. So let's go back to Studio One, and we have this track, the My Hi-Hat. We're just going to call that My Sound again. Now let's call it Cool Sound, and we're going to duplicate that. You could do this as many times as you want, but I'm going to do it 3 times. And let's mute our track so we're not hearing the impact, and we're going to record, I don't know, kind of a wailing yell, and then we're going to give that some stereo quality to it. So let's see. Ho! Ho! Okay. Now what I'm going to do is go down to my next track. I'm going to do that just in a little bit different tone, maybe a different pitch. Ho! That didn't sound good. Ho! Too early? Ho! That's probably fine. Let's go here. Ho! Ho! Okay, so that's terrible, I know, but for the point of the video here, this gets the point across. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Then I'm going to take these 3 sounds, and I can actually go over here if I want to, and you see I've got Cool Sound 2, Cool Sound 3, and let's kind of pan these. And now you're going to hear this gives this a little bit wider. Ho! Ho! And if I want to, I can always come in here and line these up a little more. Ho! Yeah, that actually sounds kind of cool. Let's shorten this up a little bit. And ho! If I wanted to, well, and I do want to, we need to get this into one stereo piece of information, or one clip, to be able to drag it onto Impact like we did before. So in order to do that, if you select all the tracks there, right click, and then choose Mix Down Selection. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm hoping that this video isn't too loud. Oops. Let's see. I do not want to delete it. No. Okay, so here we go. So now I've got this mixed down track. Ho! Kind of cool. We can actually go in here and delete these tracks if we wanted to. Ho! Now we've got this, you're going to notice something here. It's stereo. When I widen that out, that's important to see that. So let's then take this, and we're going to man, that actually sounds pretty cool. Okay, we're going to put this onto Kickbrain, and then we're going to change this channel to stereo 4. And let's take a look back at our mixer. So stereo 4, we need to make sure that's engaged. Here we go. We're going to call that Cool Sound, and we're going to put some reverb on that, these lustrous plates from Slate, and we'll drop that down a little bit. Okay, remember what I need to do is need to clean this up. And you'll see it says mix down here. We can change that to whatever we want that to be again. Cool sound. Whoops, gotta learn how to spell. Cool sound. Okay. Maybe make it a little tighter. Man, sounds kind of cool. Okay, so let's go back, get the sample out of there, open up our track again, our impact track. Okay, and then I'm gonna arm that. Start over again. Okay, here we go. Let's start recording. And come in here, hit Q, quantize that, clean that up a little bit. And again, if I want to open up my mixer, I can control that as an independent track, and let's say I want that to go over to the right. Okay, well, that gives you a really quick kind of down and dirty way to use Impact to do some custom sound sampling using your voice. You can do use those same techniques if you wanted to play a guitar or a keyboard, or wanted to record your dog barking, or wanted to, you know, like I said, hit the table with your head because you're so frustrated that you can't figure out how to complete a song or to finish writing your song. You know, whatever you want to put on there, that's how it works. Anyway, I hope this video has helped some of you out there today. This has limitless options for what you can do. So take this, spice up your tracks, use it moving forward. Make the most out of it. Like I said, it's just one of the amazing tools in Studio One, one of the amazing tools to be creative. And yeah, I really hope that helps you. So until next time, again, I'm Javery. If you like this content, please subscribe, like the video, and I'm going to be coming out with more. I am a little bit slow on making this stuff. So again, kind of just getting this channel started, even though it's been a long time in between videos. And I've got some videos that have been posted a while back. It takes me a while. So anyway, thank you so much again. Until next time.